Well, hey, and welcome to Quest Leadership Live. I'm your host, Tom Toney. Thank you for joining me here today as we talk about coaching young students to become great leaders. Take a quick second and share this out real quickly. Let everyone know that we're here live on the broadcast on this episode. Of course, you can always go back and watch us a little bit later, but I encourage you to share this out. What we do here at Quest Leadership Live is we do everything that we can to help you become stronger at coaching the next generation, young students who someday, even as they're young, will be great leaders. And so today we're going to talk about the idea of helping our students get stronger in their character, in their integrity, in their grit, determination, perseverance, in their leadership and influence. And we're going to talk about the process. What does it take to help them get stronger as we talk about the idea of heavy lifting? So get ready. Here we go. Quest Leadership Live. So I have here a little dumbbell. This is just a 5-pound dumbbell. We can get that oriented right there for you. 5 pounds of dumbbell. Not that difficult to lift, although it does provide a little bit of resistance. And so, 5 pounds, if you grab one of those, probably could do okay lifting that. But then I also have here a 25-pound dumbbell, which is just a little bit different. 5 times heavier to be exact. And this offers a lot more resistance, takes a lot more strength to be able to lift that 25-pound dumbbell than it does the 5-pound dumbbell. So we're going to talk today a little bit about what does it take to help our students grow from 5 to 25? What does it take to help them get stronger in their ability, their character, their integrity, their resilience, their determination, grit, which is such a huge part of them functioning properly in school and in life. Well, what I want to talk today about is this idea of heavy lifting, and how we can lean on the principles I'm going to share with you here to help draw strength out of our students and help them become stronger and stronger. And not just under our leadership, but to give them, instill in them principles and processes that they can use over their lifetime to grow in strength. And so this idea of heavy lifting, one of the things that I know is I spent a little time with personal trainers in the past where we'll go in and you'll work out with a personal trainer and they are there to push you. And this is the perspective that as a coach, I want you to get right away. As one who works with young students, we call coaches in the Quest leadership system. As a coach, you have to have a personal trainer mentality. Now, the personal trainer mentality simply says this: I can't lift the weight for you. I can support you. I can cheer you on. I can show you proper technique. I can challenge you. I can all those things, but I can't lift the weight for you. So just real quickly, let's look at it this way. Let's say that we are wanting to get stronger, lifting this weight, right? Well, if I want to get stronger, what do I have to do? I have to lift the weight. Now, I may have somebody that's in my ear cheering me on and saying, come on, man, you got this. Come on, push that 5 pounds up. Go, 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 go. And I'm trying to lift that 5 pounds. And they can cheer me on all that stuff. But if they actually take the weight from me and lift it for me, it doesn't help me. So we have to take a personal trainer approach to bringing out the best in our young students. And so that's the premise of this conversation today, is that you are going to be the coach. You are going to be the personal trainer. And so with that in mind, I want to talk a little bit about what it takes to help our students grow through doing some heavy lifting. Okay, so the first thing we have to recognize is that strength comes from doing heavy lifting. Strength comes from doing heavy lifting. In other words, we only get stronger when we lift heavier and heavier weights. We get strong from heavy, but we get stronger from heavier. So we have to keep progressing and recognize that the strength of the students that are around us is only going to grow as we grow their opportunity, as we grow the challenge, as we grow how heavy they are lifting. And so let's talk about this a little bit. Some key points here that we need to focus in on as coaches to remember the process of what it means for a student to grow in character, to grow in ability, to grow in patience and endurance and so on. All right. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to know their limits. You know, when I was with a trainer, or even when we work with kids today, we have to be aware of how much they can handle, how much they can handle difficult conversations, how much they can handle a little bit of emotional push to push through an emotional moment to get back on track academically, for example, or in engaging in leading a situation. So what is their capacity? How much can they handle? So we have to stay tuned into what they are capable of handling. You know, if right now they can, they're struggling to get that 5 pounds up, then it doesn't make sense at all to throw 25 pounds at them. So the first thing we have to recognize as coaches is to know their limits. Now, one of the things that I know from personal experience is that there were times in the gym where I was like, I can't handle it. I can't do it. There's no way I could lift 25. I'm struggling with 5. Don't throw 25 at me. But my trainer knew, my coach knew I probably could handle it. Sometimes as coaches and trainers, we know better than the point of pain we're feeling and hearing from our students. In other words, sometimes they'll push back and say, I can't, when really it's, I don't want to. So we not only have to be attuned to their limits, but we also have to be willing to discern fact, discern what are they really capable of, and push them out there toward those limits. Now, we do want to watch. We want to watch so we don't push them past the limit, because that can be destructive. That can be hurtful. Emotionally, it can be hurtful. Academically, it can be hurtful relationally. We're not just talking about physical strength here. We're talking about character and integrity and ability, leadership ability. So we have to recognize, am I putting too much on them, knowing their limits, but also knowing that when they are communicating to us, this is painful, that may be okay. As long as we're in tune with what they're capable of handling, we'll know when the right time is to kind of back off just a little bit. So what can you do to get in tune with the limitations, the limits, the capacity, the capabilities of your students? Well, the first thing you have to do is build relationship, to get to know them, get to understand them, understand their background, understand their motivations. Why is it they do what they do? What values, what are the core values that they are making decisions from, or they're acting out of? And that sometimes can change on a daily basis. It can change throughout a day, that they're acting from different emotional pockets. But we have to become in tune with those patterns and see where it is that as they're pushed, maybe they do run up against the wall and it's just too much for them to handle. Because it's that limit, listen carefully, it's that limit that we want to begin to nudge. That doesn't become the permanent stop. So 25 is not the permanent stop. Though it may be for a season, we recognize that's the cap. But that's not the permanent stop. We're going to actually work that to get stronger, get it past that limit. So it comes with knowing, recognizing, and being clear about discerning their capabilities and limitations. Number 2, we're going to do this. We're going to push their limits. So we may not push from 5 right straight to 25, but we're going to go from 5 to 6. Maybe we'll go from 5, 10 reps to 5, 15 reps. We're going to begin to expand their limitations. We're going to go from letting them, asking them to share out loud something they've learned in their lesson, to eventually where they could lead the lesson. Now, there's a big jump in there. You don't go from Monday, share with me a little bit what you learned in your lesson, and they talk out loud, to Tuesday, you're going to completely lead the lesson today. You can get there, though it's not going to be this magnificent, amazing jump. So incremental pushes to their limitations. So we got to steadily increase your expectations of them. Your expectations. I expect more of you. And in doing that, what we're trying to elevate is their own expectations of their capabilities. You're going to push past some barriers that are going to be emotionally difficult for them, that are going to be hard for them. You're going to hear a lot of the pain response. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. This is too hard. That's where knowing their limitations and whether or not what you're hearing from them is accurate will allow you to kind of push them a little bit further. Keep pushing that limit, pushing that expectation, steadily increasing that limit. I want you to think about these two things. I want you to think about knowing their limits and pushing their limits. Now, for me, I believe it is important to pay attention to these things. I think it's important to not just assume we know their limits and not just assume we can push their limits, but to be clear, to be cognizant of exactly what those things mean for every individual student, so that we're not putting them in a position of jeopardy. So we're not in some way harming them emotionally or personally or relationally with their peers, that we're keeping them in a safe place where they can experience a little bit of that growth that's going to be painful to them on some levels, but knowing that we are being careful and watchful. So knowing their limits, pushing their limits. Before I get to the next two, I want to take a quick second and just pause and share a quick video with you, a quick commercial about our products. We would love your help in helping us get our homeschool students and students in general, homes, parents, connected to what Quest has to offer for developing the character and integrity, the self-expectation, and the leadership of young students. So take a look at this, and then we'll finish out on today's topic. As homeschool parents, we recognize time is essential. There's not a lot of extra time to really go after some of the things that we recognize are important for our kids to get. That's why we have developed the Quest Student Leadership System. It gives you options for teaching your kids things like how to become a strong leader, how to build their character, teamwork, and ability to respond and respect authority. These products are amazing. They'll help your students discover who they are and be the best they can be. So jump onto quest.org today. That's quest.org. Click on homeschool, and there you'll find all the information you need to make some great choices for the future of your young student. We really believe in these products and this system. We have just seen such tremendous growth among young students, and we would love for you, your family, people that you know to get connected to these. So help by sharing that out. Thank you for that. Now we talked about knowing their limits in the area of building strength in our young students and our young leaders. We talked about knowing their limits, and we talked about pushing their limits. I want to go on to the third one now, which is be ready to assist. I can't stress the importance of this enough. Again, if I go back to being in the gym and lifting heavy weights, which is the whole topic for today, heavy lifting, letting kids do some heavy lifting. And I mentioned this at the outset, at the top of the episode, and that is if I'm lifting and I begin to struggle, I'm going to need some assistance. And it's in those moments that as coaches and personal trainers, we come alongside to support that process of lifting that weight. But it's incredibly important that we never lift it for them completely. In fact, I want you to read the tagline here on this particular point, be ready to assist. And that is this: watch closely for moments of failure and be ready to underline, italicize, bold, assist. Assist. It is so important that we do not do this for them. So important that we do not do this for them, that we allow them to lift, to contribute on some level, even if that level is just 1%. It's important that they do the lifting. And that's the final point today, and that is let them lift. Never lift the full weight for them, even if they are only lifting 1%. It's so important that their hand is on the weight, and that they're straining to push that weight up, whatever that weight might be. It might be assisting you. It might be being patient. It might be staying quiet during a class. It might be stepping out into a new arena of leadership, leading a class. It may be something in the performing arts. It may be something around your house that you're asking them to do, a new responsibility that they're taking on. Whatever it is you're asking them to step into, and you're expanding their limitations and building their strength by putting a little bit more weight on them. It's so important they have their hand on the weight and they are pushing to lift. Even if I'm lifting 99% of this, I know there are times when my personal trainer lifted most of the weight, but he never took the weight off of me. I always had to at least go through the motions. It was the only way I was going to get from 5 to 25 and beyond. So I just want to encourage you, our kids need to do heavy lifting. It's so important that they do heavy lifting because strength comes from doing heavy lifting. If we let them off the hook, if we let them escape their responsibilities, if we don't find ways to keep pushing that limit and nudging it out there, they're not going to grow in strength. But if we will stay determined to keep working with them and to keep pushing them forward, they will go from 5 to 25 and beyond through heavy lifting. I hope this has been helpful for you today. And I'll tell you, our experience is that kids need this, that they need to experience some heavy lifting in their lives. And so we're excited that you've been a part of this episode. We encourage you to share this out. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, we would love to hear them. And until next time, keep building strong young leaders.